guys, welcome back to another episode of Khushi's Corner, the podcast where we spill tea on teenage life. I'm Khushi, your go to host on Real Talk about friendships, school, and all the ups and downs in teenage life. On today's episode, I'm thrilled to have Alicia with us. Alicia, can you please tell a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Alicia. I'm 24 years old and I attended university in South Korea. I double majored in political science and technology management. And I worked for a bit in Korea and then I'm back here in Congo. And I most likely will be attending law school in the coming year.
Wow, that sounds very interesting. And you mentioned that you studied in Korea, which is not that common. So, how was your experience about studying in Korea? What surprised you the most about studying in Korea?
Well, like multiple factors
Mm-hmm.
certainly were surprising
Yeah.
because to start off, this is also back in 2017 when I was applying to law to schools like universities, and there wasn't as much information readily available
Yeah.
about Korea back then.
Mm-hmm.
To couple on like sort of double down, honestly, the exposure that my school had to East Asian universities, which is essentially where I wanted to go. I wanted to go to an Asian university, and particularly in East
Yeah.
Asia, because
Mm-hmm.
in 2016, 2017, the sort of climate was very much oriented towards the growing economic boom that was occurring within this region, right?
Yeah.
And so that was one of the reasons I wanted to ensure that I attended my undergraduate degree there, did something sort of in the lines in that region. And then I want to say that because I did political science, that was sort of in line with that growing importance that the
Mm-hmm.
Asian economies sort of were bringing on a global scale, right? So yeah, I would say there were multiple factors that were definitely different. They were shocking, perhaps. Even in 2017, there weren't as many foreigners in Korea, and
Yeah.
also sort of just even basic things like subway signs weren't in English. Subway announcements weren't in English, so I had to figure out sort of a lot of things because I had no idea how to speak Korean when I first got there, and so I had to learn the language and I had to learn sort of the language at a higher level because I had to do sort of things like banking all on my own, right?
Yeah.
So it was certainly difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But once I got the hang of it, it made things a lot more easier. And it was honestly, generally, a very good, very positive experience for me. I think I learned really, how to adapt cultural nuances, and sort of like flexibility in general with dealing with people, but also with cultures and sort of their customs.
Mm-hmm.
So that was certainly, a good experience, and
Yeah.
I don't think I would ever take it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Alicia, you stated before that you went to Korea to study international relations. Does that mean you wanted to become a diplomat?
Yes, it's actually something I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
When I was back in high school, it was
Yeah.
something I really, I had fantasized with about in general. I
Yeah.
think that's also why I did political science.
Mm-hmm.
It's also why I decided to center my university applications, within Asia,
Yeah.
because again in 2016, 2017, Asia was sort of the region where all these economies were sort of rising up, and not only globally, but we're talking economically and also
Yeah.
culturally. There was this wave sort of coming in of these Asian, the Korean wave,
Yeah.
the Japanese
Yeah.
wave. So all these things were sort of coming into the limelight too. And so that was why I thought, I wanted to stay in Asia so I could gain familiarity, become more proficient with sort of the economies, the cultures, how this works and everything.
Yeah.
Because I thought I could levy that for the future
Mm-hmm.
career that I had determined I was going to, I was set upon.
Yeah.
But after, going through the university, doing the courses, doing the extracurriculars, doing the
Mm-hmm.
internships, all
Yeah.
these, sort of opportunities we were afforded on principle of being university students, I realized it's not something that I wanted to do. and it was not something that I felt as intrinsically, aligned with.
Mhm.
The profession itself was something that I had become disillusioned with, and
Mhm.
that was partly tied with what it dealt with as well as the way it functioned. So I wasn't essentially a huge a fan, let's say,
Yeah.
of the very conversation oriented and sort of, you know the kind of culture and that was centered around this diplomacy was not something that I thought I was as, passionate about.
Yeah.
And so during this process of reconsideration and reevaluation, I was looking into other careers that might be more suitable for me. And this is when I really, during one of the coursework, I came across Michael Sandel and John Rawls. They are sort of these philosophers, modern
Mhm.
philosophers, we call, that deal with the concept of human nature and sort of the pursuit of justice and the truth.
Mhm.
And that was something that I think it sort of functioned as a shock to my system, because I really found that it was something that I could really delve into, and it captured my attention
Yeah.
for a sufficient amount of time that I felt that I could devote myself to. And so that really then spiraled into another bout of, research, conversation that led me to the legal profession and how I might go down that path, which is
Mhm.
why, I'm now set upon. So that's essentially why I've decided to apply to law school.
Yeah.
I've decided that this is really something that I feel like I could give my 100% to,
Mhm.
and that sufficiently interests me and has enough of a demand
Yeah.
of me to feel that I have done something that's more satisfying and productive.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds nice. And to sum up our entire podcast, is there any advice you would want to give to teenagers out there who are in their senior year, who are thinking of what field to pursue, or who are stressing about what colleges to apply?
Well, I would say that, well, in general, you want to
Yeah.
do your research, you want to talk to people, you want to check what your university offers
Yeah.
and what you can take advantage of while you're there.
Mhm.
But I would also say to, teenagers who are, in their final years of high school, to really not feel as pressured with where they're applying and what university they're going to be attending and
Yeah.
what major they're going to be, majoring in.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you have a lot of that pressure while you're, especially it builds up as you enter your final year,
Yeah.
in that you feel that the university I attend and the career I choose is the end all,
Yeah.
and that I really need to do this perfectly.
Mhm.
But really, things change, you change, your experiences will change you. And so I would advise you not to feel as burdened about that, because I'm almost certain like half of the people that do attend university upon graduation will end up changing what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
And I would say actually that's more than half.
Yeah.
So I want to say that, definitely don't feel as pressured. Be open to, be flexible essentially, because that's what's demanded of you. I'd also like to end with saying that do not select your passion as something that you would like to major in,
Yeah.
because your passion, and again, speaking from personal experience, it changes based upon who you are with and where you are and
Mhm.
what interests you, right?
Yeah.
And that's not a stable enough foundation for you to build your career upon. You really need to find what gives you and drives you every day. What is something that you could actually, what could demand of you
Yeah.
sufficient enough amount of
Mhm.
interest and energy.
Yeah.
And so that's really what you want to actually focus upon building in terms of long-term plans, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really all that I could
Okay,
give
that
you.
that sounds amazing. Thank you so much, Alicia, for being our guest speaker today on the podcast and sharing so many new insights on college life and giving advice to other teenagers out there. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for having me.